Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be making a custom chapter for the Space Marines. But first of all I want to say a huge thank you to my YouTube channel sponsors Goblin Gaming. If you check the description box down below you'll find a direct link to their web store and you can go and check them out for yourselves. And please make sure you use the link if you do purchase anything from Goblin Gaming, as it greatly helps my YouTube channel. This tutorial was a great opportunity for me to use Green Stuff World's colour shift paints. Now I've never created my own custom Space Marine chapter before, but I really enjoyed working on this miniature. I hope you are inspired to create maybe your own custom Space Marine chapter, or maybe follow along with this tutorial and make one of your own Martian Predators, as I'm calling this chapter. So guys, as always it's going to be a very long video, so go grab yourselves a nice hot drink or maybe a nice ice cold beer and we'll get started with the video. I'll start off by using Alclad 2's Gloss Black Base Primer. Now it's important to use a gloss primer because it's going to help the reflective properties of the colour shift paints. Now if you haven't got a gloss primer, what you could do is prime it in black and then gloss varnish over the top, but it does make a bit of a difference when you're using a gloss primer or a gloss base for the reflective properties of the colour shift paints. Whilst I'm priming the miniature, I want to take this opportunity to thank all my Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for pledging your support to me on Patreon. If you really like my videos guys and you want to do a little bit more than hit the like button or subscribe, then head on over to my Patreon page and pledge your support from as little as $1. I'll leave a link in the description box down below to my Patreon page. It's important to note with this glossy primer it goes down really smooth, but also it goes down really wet and fast at the same time, so make sure you build up the primer really slowly and don't blast it out of the airbrush too quickly, as you'll get drips really easy with this primer. I'm priming at 20 psi and about 3 to 4 inches away, and I'm only pulling back slightly on the airbrush trigger. After letting the primer cure for a few hours, I'm coming in with Green Stuff World's colour shift paint Martian Green. It's important to really thoroughly shake up the paint before you put it into your airbrush cup guys, as the particles can easily separate and fall to the bottom of the dropper bottle. So shake up the paint thoroughly and then add it to your airbrush cup and you'll get a nice even coat of paint. Again I'm spraying at 20 psi and about 3 to 4 inches away, and I'm letting the colour build up nice and slowly to a nice even smooth coverage. It's important to make sure that all of the Space Marine is covered with the Martian green paint. If it's not, then you'll find that when you actually hand brush this paint on, it doesn't go on nearly as smoothly as it does with the airbrush. So make sure you get a really nice even coverage throughout the whole of the Space Marine before moving on to the next stage. Now we're going to gloss varnish the miniature. After letting the miniature cure for a few hours and dry, we're coming in with some metal varnish from Vallejo. Don't let the word metal fool you, it's just a gloss varnish, but the reason we're gloss varnishing this is for two reasons. One, to protect the delicate paint, and two, it's going to also help the reflective properties of the metallic paint as well. So it will protect and it will also help the sheen of the metallics. Now I'm going to use an absolutely fantastic paint from Vallejo. It's called Liquid Gold Old Gold. Now this is an alcohol based paint, and it's very important that you have rubbing alcohol or isopropyl, which is really crucial to clean your brushes after using the old gold paint, as regular water will not clean this out of your brushes. So make sure if you do buy the Vallejo Old Gold from the Liquid Gold series that you've got some rubbing alcohol to clean your brushes out afterwards. I've tried many acrylic golds, guys, and some are very good, like Dark Stars Molten Metal paints. They're really good, but in my honest opinion I haven't found a gold that goes on as smoothly with one coat coverage as much as the as the Liquid Gold paints from Vallejo. Now I'm going to be painting the gun, sword and other areas of the Space Marine using Vallejo Game Air Chainmail Silver. Now don't let the name Game Air fool you, as this can be hand brushed really nicely as well, guys. Here I'm going to use Games Workshop's Mephiston Red just to paint the rosette on the Purity seal. Zandri dust is used to paint the parchment of the Purity seal. The gun holder and pouches on the Space Marine is going to be painted in Games Workshop's base paint Mornfang Brown. All the silver metallics are going to be washed with Army Painter's Dark Tone Quick Shade. Now this is very similar to Nornal. It dries to a matte finish and it looks very good. I would highly recommend this over Games Workshop's Nornal, not because it's much better, because it's very similar, but you get more wash for the price, and it's in a much better dropper bottle, so you won't be inclined to spill it like Nornal. So I highly recommend you trying out their dark shade. Now I'm going to be using Agrax Earthshade Gloss on all the golds. Now the reason I'm using the gloss version of Agrax Earthshade is I want to keep all the shiny properties of the gold, and I don't want to dull them down. So if you have Agrax Earthshade Gloss, use this. If not, you can use the standard version, but it will dull down the metallics somewhat. Shabti bone is placed over the Zandri dust on the parchment of the purity seal. Here I'm going to be dry brushing Vallejo Game Air Silver onto all of the silver metallics. It's very important that you remove pretty much all of the paint on some paper towel until you don't see any more paint coming off on the paper towel. Use a flat bristle brush, which is again very important to use to make sure that the dry brushing works correctly, and just ever so slightly brush backwards and forwards on the miniature to pick up the extreme edges for highlights. Games Workshop Seraphine Sepia is washed onto the purity seal just to give it an aged and worn look. And here we have our finished custom Space Marine that I've named as the Martian Predators. I had great fun painting up this Space Marine in a custom chapter, and I hope it inspires you to create your own custom Space Marine chapters too. And if you do, guys, head on over to my Facebook page and share your work. I love to see what you're up to, guys, so please do share your work. I'd also like to say once again a huge thank you to my YouTube channel sponsors, Goblin Gaming. Don't forget to check the description box for the direct link to their web store, and as always, guys, anything you do purchase from that link greatly helps my YouTube channel and is greatly appreciated. Okay guys, lastly, please hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.